You won't be sitting too long. Finding a comfortable seated position if you want to be on with your knees bent in Virasana or crossing your legs, anywhere that you feel that you have even sit bones, pubic bone. And we'll just cup our palms today and take a moment just to close our eyes. Take some nice, deep, slow breaths into your body. So we actually slow down the breath by lengthening it. So I want you to start to take a nice long inhale, pausing at the top of the inhale. And then even exhale, so a nice long exhalation. And pausing at the bottom of that exhalation just for a moment. And if you feel okay, we're going to bring that breath in and out through the nostrils. So as you inhale, sipping in through your nostrils, slightly through the back of the throat, all the way to the diaphragm. As you fill up, pause for just a moment like you're sustaining between the breath. And then exhale everything down and out, emptying, elongating as you exhale. And we'll pause at the bottom of that exhale. I'm just going to do a couple more like this. If it helps you to count, you can make a count of 6 in. And 6 out. Good. One more cycle just like this. Bringing your hands to your hearts, slightly tucking the chin so that the back of the throat lengthens. And just roll your shoulders back a few times. Your palms are together, so you're slightly lifting the chest here. Just letting your diaphragm, your heart, your inner body know that you're ready for this practice. You're ready to receive this practice. Maybe you're ready to have a breakthrough today. I made a post last night, and I feel like this is an ongoing question, is like, where are you ready to have a breakthrough? And oftentimes, before we have a breakthrough, we have a breakdown. That can happen on many levels. It can happen on the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and just everything all at once starts to happen. We just break down and we start to realize that a way that we've been serving or moving or generating energy, our focus is not working for us. It's not serving us. And so the breakdown begins to happen. And on the other side of that is a breakthrough where there's more freedom, there's awareness, there's a sense of opening to new opportunity and light. And so I like to invite this pause, or as I heard it said this morning, the sacred pause that we're in, to also allow us to pause in between the breath and in these moments of our practice to reflect on what we would like to see ourselves in the next coming days and weeks. Good, let's take one breath here. And we're going to generate the sound of Om. When you're ready, let that Om go and resound anywhere and everywhere into your heart, into your organs, anywhere that you need that little extra energy today to create resilience. Good, deep breath in. And again. One more. Beautiful. And I'm gonna have you interlace your fingers here. When you're ready to open your eyes, press through your wrists. You might feel the snapping sensation, and actually just press the wrists a little forward and back and stretch them out. And so I want to talk about one other theme today because I find that yoga helps the most with this. I want to talk about safety and connection through resilience. So resilience is our capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. And so, you know, go ahead and inhale, bring the wrists up overhead, shrug the shoulders a little bit, let the shoulders draw down the back. You can do that a few times. So we're actually stretching the wrists, and we're getting the side body really nice and inflated with fresh oxygen, breath into your intercostal muscles. Great. And so what fuels your inherent capacity to become resilient in your life, to your surroundings and to challenging situations? So we take the wrists and just circle them, just finding a spiral that feels good, that helps to loosen any kind of tight ducts in between the ribs or intercostal muscles. And you want to contract a little bit anywhere that feels good as you move and circle around your rib cage. Good. A couple more times here, we're moving through the torso. And we can reverse the direction, creating a spiral. And again, kind of relaxing the jaw, the neck. Just another breath here. Good. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, slowly press through the wrist like you're pressing through honey. Very much. And you're creating a shield of protection around your body. Good. Create more resilience. So things that create resilience, yoga, movement practices, time in nature, right? We're gonna roll shoulders from forward to back, and we're gonna come standing in just a moment. Actually, let's go ahead and come to standing. And today, I'm gonna have you work with either a block, and this is important for the journey, or a towel roll. You don't have a block. Most of us have towels and we can roll them up, okay? We're gonna do some back bends today, and we're gonna see if we can have those breakthroughs and create space in our body for those breakthroughs and create more resilience in our body so that we feel more safe and connected and ability to overcome whatever might be challenging in our environment right now. So also connection and intimacy with other people also creates resilience. So we are being a little bit, you know, trapped from some of that, but most of us have a few people in our life that we can touch and connect with. So go ahead and take your blanket. I'm gonna actually do the towel roll because, you know, I just like to show different modifications, the props. This class is gonna be a little bit more upbeat today. So we're gonna do a little bit more strengthening, challenging poses, opening the hips, opening the heart. I want you to take care of yourself, especially if you're feeling super achy. I'll offer you some modifications. So here we are, we're squeezing, we're gently hugging to our midline, this roll. And I'm just gonna speak of the mechanics of it so that when we go into class, we can apply them. So just take a moment to bend your knees and sway a little bit forward and back on your feet. Ooh. And I want you to just find that you're rooting through the four corners of your feet here. Nice. Your knees a little bit bent. And you want to find a neutral pelvic floor by doing so. Cool. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to lengthen the tailbone down. As we lengthen it down, we're going to squeeze and hug into the bolster, blanket roll. And as we hug into it, what we're doing is we're adducting, we're hugging to our midline. So tailbone down, hug in, and you're actually gonna work on getting the femur bones back. So that would mean if you have a block, you press into it and it widens your sit bones. So we'll go here first. Femur bones back, squeeze the block. Now tailbone down. The tailbone down engages your lower transverse abdominal. Navel back. The navel is actually also hugging in to your core. And then heart lifts. You want to have actual lift through your chest. So you're grounding and lifting up through your midline. So this is now where we're just going to relax and try to breathe into it. So a lot of times we can feel like we're over tensing, especially in the beginning of learning how to engage these muscles. But let's just do a little bit of movement with this. So go ahead and bend your knees just a little bit, like a little plie. Inhale, squeeze the roll, arms come up. Exhale down. And there's a little plie. Good. As you inhale, there's a lift through center. And exhale, arms come down. Beautiful, one more. Nice, exhale, arms come all the way through center, midline. Close your eyes for just a moment. And if you haven't already, just cultivating a core intention today, sankalpa. Good. And we're going to continue to move. So go down again, inhale, sweep the arms up. And you're going to take your left wrist. I'm going to walk back just a little bit. And I want you to start to go over to your right side body. Okay, you might be, looks like we're doing something opposite, just whatever side you're on. We're gonna press here. So if you're doing the same side as me, you're pressing more through that left leg, breathing through the left intercostal muscles, and then starting to reach a little bit further. Good, nice. Take one more breath here. Inhale brings us up. Exhale, we're actually gonna go down a little bit. Use this energy and bring it up through the midline and go over to the other side. So as you move to the left and arch and create this kind of lateral side bend, I want you to breathe through the intercostal muscles, root down through the right leg a little bit more. And just continue to expand your breath. We're using a deep Ujjayi breath that moves through the back of the throat. In and out through the nostrils. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, bring it down. Cool. We're just going to do a few more things with the blanket roll. We're not going to use it all day today, but I feel that it's going to be helpful for us as we move through these first exercises and movements and asanas. So I'm actually going to show you the next thing we're going to do is actually continue to hug the roll. And you're going to bring your hands around your side waist so that your thumbs are actually right the top of your sacrum to create a little bit of energy here so the sacrum doesn't depress too much. We actually make sure we don't go into sway hips, again, which is why we do the femurs back and tailbone down. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna do little squats. So we're gonna start to lower the hips. You wanna keep your chin a little tucked, the back of the throat long. And then we're gonna inhale, come up. So we're gonna exhale, squat, squeeze the block a little bit, and then inhale, feel this zip line as you come up. Good. You're going to keep the spine long and see if you can actually start to lower the hips and then hug as you lift up. Good. We're just going to do two more. You can exhale as you come down and inhale as you come up. Good. One more. Stay lifted. Nice. Now we're going to do this. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. We're going to come into lifting our heels. Now, so this is where you need to bend the knees just a little bit. So we're going to actually start to come down. Yeah, you want to keep the heels lifted, hugged in to your midline, and you want to start to lower the hips a little bit. As you're lowering the hips, you're still lifting, lifting, lifting. Good, and then coming back up. You can release the heels. So we can do that a couple times without having a break. So we're just going to build what's called this lower transverse area to come up onto your heels and you're ready. Hug in if it helps, find a drishti for balance. And we're going to go down. Squeeze. Inhale, come up. Get nice and tall. Exhale, go down. So you can go a little bit deeper. Squeeze, lift, come up. Good. Two more. One more. Inhale, come up. This time go down a little bit deeper. If you can, smile because it releases endorphins. Good. And now come all the way back up. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Get nice and long, and then exhale, forward fold. Good. We're just going to do one forward fold with this roll between the thighs, then we'll take it out and feel that rush of blood coming to the area. So from here, first just relax, let your head dangle, your upper torso dangle while your feet stay nice and strong. Relax your head, your neck, your jaw. If it helps, sway a little bit side to side, so that you feel that ragdoll effect. Good. All right. Next thing we're going to do is place our hands to our shins. We're going to inhale, look forward. And actually, we don't want to look up. We want to look forward on the back, on the neck, excuse me, on the mat so that the back of the neck elongates. You can release compression in cervical vertebra. And then as you exhale, full release. And this is just to help articulate how we want to be doing this pose properly. So hug that the inner thighs, lengthen sternum, chest forward, and then exhale like a wave, drop. One more, inhale, hands to shins, lengthen, look forward, exhale, release. Here we go, we're gonna do one roll up with that block between the thighs. So you're gonna actually press through the feet, scoop tailbone towards the heels, hug into the roll of the block, stack the spine. How a dance teacher says, if you do this properly, you can actually break a sweat. All right, coming all the way up. And you're gonna take out your roll. Cool. Coming to the front of your mat now. Hands to your heart. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, touch the earth. Inhale, hands to shins, lengthen. Exhale, step back. You're gonna step back with your right foot, okay? And bring the right knee down to the earth. You can keep your toes tucked. And we're gonna bring the hands to the top of the thigh. Awesome. Now we're not gonna drop the hips yet, so we're still in a slightly 90-degree angle here. And I'm actually gonna have you just sway a little bit forward and back, kind of scissoring the thighs, maybe repeating the hips. Good. Nice. And take another breath here, shoulders back, press through the feet, and then lengthen all the way through the back of the throat. Now from here, you're gonna bring the right hand to the inside of the left foot. You can also use a block. And we're gonna go ahead and lift that back knee off the floor. Good, so we're starting to energize that back leg. Good. And from here, the left arm is gonna go forward, draw the arm bone back, engage the core, and then spiral the arm open. Good, so this twist is not just the arm reaching, it's actually initiated from the inner seam of the right thigh all the way up through the core and opening from the heart. Take one more breath here. Exhale, hands come down. Let's go into downward dog. So take your first downward dog. Feet about hip distance apart. Relaxing the jaw and the neck. Yeah, and you might find here it's good to just make a few sounds or exhales out through your mouth. We're still just warming up and arriving. We're gonna move some energy today. Beautiful, okay, dropping the knees wide, reaching the fingers forward. We're just gonna take a nice elongated child's pose. So create some space in the hips, rooting the fingers on the mat, bowing the head, and just taking a moment to turn your awareness to the earth, to gravity. Okay. Make sure that's all. Coming to your hands and your knees. Beautiful. And go ahead and come back. So looking down at your knees and your navel, I'm gonna have you lift your hips into downward dog. And I'm gonna have you lengthen your heels back. Notice how the breath is pulsing through you. Good. One more breath here. You're gonna look forward and your next exhale, step your right foot to the front, drawing the left knee to the floor. Pausing and bringing your hands up to your right thigh. And just a little bit, drawing the thigh bones forward and back. Cool. Nice. And coming back to stabilize, we'll take one more breath, lifting through the heart. Exhale, left hand comes down. Left hand comes down, back leg, knee lifts off the mat. And notice here actually, because this is a tendency to see on my leg, my hip is hammocking. You want to actually energize this inner thigh. Good. Imagine the back thigh is lifting and drawing back. So that's core energy. Okay, cool. Inhale, right arm comes forward, spiral open. 3 breaths here. Kind of let yourself connect in. Take one more nice deep inhale. Exhale, we'll step our back foot to the front of the mat. Good. Hands to the shins, we'll lengthen. Nice. Exhale, and we're actually going to lower hips, lift heels, lower hips, lift hips. Good. Nice. Take a moment here. We're going to balance by bringing our hands to our hearts. You're going to hug your thighs together. Just take a moment to lift up. See if you can find the drishti. One more breath. And slowly, if you are able to come onto your hips, I'm going to roll down to the back. I'm just hugging the shins for a moment. Cool. All right. Just hugging yourself in, arriving on the earth. I'm going to do a little bit for the core and the low back here. I'm not doing music today. I do find sometimes it's distracting, so you can have your own playlist actually in the background, and I like that idea. So on our backs, take your blanket roll or your block in between your thighs. Again, you're adducting and hugging. And so as you get that blanket roll there, you want to bring your heels up towards your sitting bones. Cool. And you want to actually start to roll your shoulders back a little bit. So the shoulder blades are going to start to come towards each other. Not hyper extending them back, but just kind of a little roll so the palms come up. Cool. So we're gonna alternate between palms down and palms up here. We're gonna do little bridge rolls. And so what's activating here is not only pressing into the feet, but we're gonna engage the glutes. So it looks like this. So we're just gonna start to take a deep breath in to the pelvis. And as you exhale, I'm gonna squeeze the roll, the glutes, lift through the body, the palms open here so that the shoulder blades draw towards each other. We're gonna take a breath and we're gonna exhale and come back down. We're gonna take an inhale in between to set up, and then again, exhale. We're gonna move into the pose. Inhale, we're gonna lift all the way into our heart, pressing the block, pressing into the feet. Exhale, we're gonna roll back down. Are you getting this pattern? Okay, so again, deep breath in. You're gonna kind of tilt the pubic bone forward. Exhale, press through the feet, squeeze, lift, come on up. Take a breath here. And come on down. One more time on your own. Awesome, okay. So from here, we're letting our sacrum, our hips come back to the mat. Our palms, again, are gonna just face down. We're gonna do a little ab series. I'm gonna give some modifications because I wanna make sure that you're protecting yourself. You're not gonna overdo it today, but some of you wanna actually be a little bit more challenged. So you're gonna keep excuse me, I keep having a hard time calling it block, bolster, or towel roll, but that bolster is gonna be between the thighs as you bring your legs up. Now here, if you're gonna go for a more like level 1 today, you're gonna keep your knees over your hips in a 90-degree angle, okay? So this will help your pelvis to stay neutral and your feet a little bit flexed so they're energized. Good, stabilizing. Some of you wanna go a little bit more deeper. You can bring your legs all the way up to the sky. And again, you're gonna hug into that roll, okay? From here, actually just shake a little bit so that we don't feel too tense going into any of this. We need to stay relaxed and then be able to engage properly and then go find our edge to soften into. So there's a lot going on. Rooting, so here, before we even lift our upper body, I want you to kind of really root the sacrum. You're gonna squeeze the roll, scoop down through the, the tailbone's gonna scoop a little bit. It's gonna energize the legs here. So everything is nice and engaged in the lower body. We're gonna lift the upper body. So you're gonna roll your shoulders off the mat, okay? So shoulders lift, tuck your chin, look down to your navel, draw it down, squeeze the roll, press up and out through your feet. Okay, as you can see here, we're already engaging a lot of abs. Exhale, come up a little bit more. Take another breath. Nice, exhale, bring the shoulders down, bend the knees, take a little break. And we're gonna go into a series. I just wanted you to feel the engagement. The engagement of it is kind of an exercise in and of itself. Let's go again, legs come up or 90 degree. Squeeze the roll, root the sacrum, scoop the tailbone, energize. Now, if you need to protect the back of your head, you can do so by cupping 1 or 2 hands. So you want to get first your shoulders off the mat, navel down, hug into the block. Good. Now you're going to take your right hand, you're going to reach towards the left foot. You're going to reach up and pulse, and pulse, and pulse, and pulse. And for 3, 2, 1. Nice. And we're going to switch. So you want to protect the back of your head with your right hand, and the left hand is going to reach towards the opposite shin. Pulse, pulse. Good. Move 3, 2, and 1. Good. Release the head, bend the knees. So let the knees pop for a moment. If it's kind of intense, just rock your hips. We're going to do one more round of this. This is good. This is that challenging part of the workout that you know you're doing the work today. Go ahead and bring your legs back to where they were. Good. Take another moment to re-engage the legs. Root the sacrum, scoop the tailbone, hug the block. Good. We're going to roll up off our shoulder blades. Tuck the chin, navel down. Good. And from here, we're just going to reach up. Reach up. Keep the chin tucked. Reach up. You can exhale as you reach up. One more reaching up. And then arms come to your hips. Tuck your chin, shoulders off the mat, and see if you can pulse a little bit towards your navel. So just little tiny pulses. For 2 and 1. And oh, that was good. Hug in your legs. And what I'm going to have you do is take your roll out. Bring your knees together. Okay. You're going to bring your hands underneath your glutes, palms face down. You want to keep your shoulders back so that your sternum is open. You can breathe into it. Good. Oh, excuse me. Actually, open your hands a little bit wider. They're not under the glutes. They're actually going to be in a V here so that we can roll on to the right hip. And so we're not going to drop the knees for a twist, but we're just going to keep them hugged in. The left hip lifts off the earth as we are balancing on the right. Just hugging in. This is nice for the obliques, stretches the lower back a little bit. Good. Take a breath. Exhale, come back and roll over to the other side onto the left hip. The knees stay hugged in. There's a little bit of flexion in the pelvis here. Good. And just take a breath here. Exhale through and back to the other side. We're coming on the right hip again. You can stay here, or if you want a little bit more, stretch the legs out, keeping them hugged together and lengthening out. Breathe through the sideways and come through as you exhale. To the other side, hug in, reach, lengthen, breathe. And coming back. All right, great. So from here, bring your feet down, jiggle out your legs. This is good for the lymph, for the legs, for the blood. Cool. All right, so we're gonna do one more kind of like ab buster for the day. If you're feeling like that's too much because your low back is feeling tender, then I'm gonna have you just come into a Supta Baddha Konasana with your soles of your feet together. Maybe just bring one hand on your abdomen, one hand on your liver. So you can just breathe and ground into the earth and let the hips open. Now, those of you who want to go a little bit more into this, now bring your hands under the glute muscles. You're going to bring your legs up in 90-degree angle, drawing together at your midline. And we're going to lower as we exhale, not touching the earth because you want to actually stay in a solid neutral pelvis, and then inhale, come up. Exhale down. Hovering over the earth, inhale, come up just to that 90 degrees. Good. And so if this is still not enough, you can press up as you bring the legs up. So you can lower down and press up and out. Inhale, press up and out. And one more. Awesome. All right, that was really good. If you are in the Supta Baddha Konasana, bring your feet together. Open your knees, wide here. And just draw your knees towards your elbows and just rock a little bit. And actually, let's try it out. Let's go into happy baby. And you're gonna just open the knees, draw the knees towards the earth a little bit, feet wide and rocking so that you can feel a slight massage through the low back. And then I want you to come back to neutral spine. See if you can in your happy baby, not while extending your heels up, curl and lengthen your tailbone down towards the earth. Just for a little contrast in the low back. Take a breath here. Awesome. All right, hug your shins in together, and we're going to try to rock all the way up. You can do a few rocks if it feels good for your spine, and we will press back into downward dog. If you're ready to go through vinyasa, you can. If not, you can take a child's pose. Vinyasa, chaturanga, dandasana is a vinyasa, so shoulders coming over wrists. Taking a breath by pressing into the earth, lowering down, inhaling up. And we are going to actually take a little pause to release low back by coming into Anahatasana, puppy pose. So we're going to bring the forearms forward and forehead to the earth. You can come here, hips stay over knees so that you get this like nice decompression of the spine. You can also bring your hands by rooting your elbows into the earth and getting a little bit more lift through your armpits and your upper back. Good. Let's take 2 more breaths in that position. Okay, come back to the hands and the knees. And actually just gonna invite you to do a little bit cat and cow, okay? Just for the spine, for massaging the spine, making sure that your vertebra feels nice and supple today. Exhaling, tucking. Inhaling, articulating through the crown of the head and the tailbone. You're just doing cat and cow. As you exhale, tuck the chin, lift the back of the heart. You can also engage the perineum, hollowing out the chest. As you inhale, bringing fresh oxygen to the brain, to the vertebrae. Good, again, just moving with the fluidity of your breath. And I'm going to have you start to move in more serpent-like motions, lateral motions, and just see if there's any other part of your body, your spine, that wants to undulate right now. Good. All right, and walking your hands back, we're going to sit in Virasana for just a moment. We're going to actually, as we get ready to go into back bends, what assists back bends is actually opening the hips more. So let's see if we can get our hips a little bit more open today. So actually what we're going to do from here is just come up onto our knees. We will come back to sitting in a moment. And so you feel comfortable coming onto your knees, we'll bring the right foot forward. Cool. Continue to bring your hands now to the inside of the right leg. Good. From here, okay, so we started by kind of doing a little bit of pacing back and forth through our thighs. What I'm going to have you do here is create a little bit more length between the legs. So see if you can bring your right foot and inch it a few more inches forward. And then maybe even the left leg, you can tuck your toes and lengthen it back. And if that spaciousness is there, great. If not, then you can continue to bring that right heel back, okay? What we're going to do from here is start to drop the hips. But as you drop the hips, I want you to be energetically still lifting through your pelvic floor a little bit. So imagine how you were hugging that block. That energy of that lift is still there as you allow the hips to gravitationally pull down, drop down. Good. So there's an energy going down and another one lifting you to help engage. Especially for a woman, we need that energy, that extra engagement in the pelvic floor. So see if you can drop, engage, and breathe here. Good. Now from here, I will invite you to go a little deeper by walking your hands out to the left. You can bring your right foot and angle it just a little bit to the right. So we're coming into a deep lizard pose. So from here, you can either come onto your fingertips, or you can come onto your forearms, or use your block to come onto your forearms, okay? So this is deep, okay? So I want you to really honor what's going on in the hips. If you need to come out of it a little bit, to come back in a way that's engaged, honor that. So breathe. I'm gonna let you stay here for a few breaths. Walking your hands back to center, draw the hips back. And as you draw the hips back, we're going to come into Ardha Hanumanasana, which is kind of a half. Split your hips. It's important they're squared here, so there's not one lifting higher than the other. So sit bones are even. You're on your right heel, drawing the toes up. I want you to take a moment. You're going to start to arch forward, but as you arch forward, you want to keep this length, right? This engagement in length. In the spine. You can use your fingertips to bow over the chin. First, take a breath like you're coming into a little bit of a cobra. And again, yeah, you can always put extra padding through your knee. Exhale, and you're actually going to tuck your chin and rolling the forehead down towards the shin. The chin tucked because it creates this flow of oxygen through the cervical vertebra to the brain. It's good for the thyroid and for kind of that blood-brain barrier. One more breath. Slowly coming out. I'm going to bend the right knee, draw it back. I'm going to sit again in Virasana. This time we'll just take about half a minute here with the eyes closed. So you can really feel and assimilate that right side, the hip, the opening, the flow of oxygen. Okay, let's go to the other side. Find some resilience. Left foot's gonna come forward. Again, if you know you have like bony knees, you can put a little extra padding, okay? You can tuck your toes, or sometimes I like to press the top of the foot down. That also equally stabilizes my base. From here, walk your hands to the inside, the left foot. You can pace a little bit forward and back, and just start to feel into lengthening the thighs. So getting more space, lengthening, right? And so from here, you can open your left foot just a slight degree to the left. You can start to walk your hands a little bit to the right side. That allows the torso to create space with the psoas, okay? And that steep hip flexor. So I want you to take a breath so that there's still a lift through the core. Exhale, let the weight drop and start to lengthen out to whatever degree feels comfortable for you today. You can really release any holding in the neck, in the upper body. So what do you need to support so that your upper body releases and your breath really comes back into the hips and the sacrum? Yeah. Great. Take one more breath. Wherever you need it, filling up nice, deep, slow, following out the exhale. We'll walk the hands back towards center of mat. We'll also pivot the left foot back towards our midline. Draw the left hip back. We'll come into this half runner's lunge. And if it's available to first come up Go ahead and we'll just try that. Good. So here, the left sit bone kind of scoops under so that you have this, again, stable pelvis. You can root the left heel, take a breath, lengthen. Exhale, we're going to start to come down a little bit, about halfway. You can bring your hands here. And again, take a little cobra through the chest. And now we're going to tuck the chin and curl down and into ourselves. You'll benefit a lot here as you get that tuck and that deep ujjayi breath through the back of the throat and the neck. And I'm speaking to that throat lock, the breath, and the cervical spine because I know there was a little request for the neck today and to care for it. So just pay attention to where you hold it and how you can release it through these asanas. One more breath. Go ahead and we're going to shift, bend the knee forward and slide it back. And we will sit again for another half minute or so just to reacclimate before we go into our last maha pose. Okay. Checking our time. Oh, we're doing good. Okay, we're perfectly on time. So here we go. I'm gonna have us do one more little chaturanga vinyasa, if that's in your practice, and we will come onto our back again. So we'll come from downward dog to upward dog. We're just gonna go one breath through each asana. Nice deep downward dog, bend of the knees, lift of the hips. And if you have this in your practice, just kind of hop forward and slide through. Okay, cool. So from here, and we always do one roll down in practices. So I'm gonna invite you to do that. Feet are parallel, they're not so close together here. They're nice. Now I'm gonna try to glue the feet down. I start by bringing the hands under the thighs, tucking the chin. Elbows out, and you want to get this not only navel back, but imagine you're scooping the pubic bone up and into the navel so that you peel one vertebrae at a time down. Eventually the hands release. And wherever you're starting to shake, if you want to actually engage, you come up another little tiny bit, and then keep going down. Down, down. Last thing that releases, so when the shoulders hit, go ahead and release for a moment onto your back. Take your feet, windshield wipering the feet so that it just helps kind of release any of the joints all the way up in your knees, your hips. Okay, so we're gonna go into our last back bending series. And so we're going to do the full like Urdhva Dhanurasana too, which is full kind of like back bend. If you're not doing that in your practice, I'm going to show you first modifications. You can either go into half bridge and really work on holding it and pressing and engaging in it your full capacity, or you can take your block or blanket roll under your sacrum and go for a more therapeutic type of bridge. Now those of you who are going into full Urdhva Dhanurasana, you're going to actually bring your hips to your heels, and you want to make sure that you have this practice of bringing the elbows up. So first arms come forward, elbows bend, and they come up, hands come underneath the shoulders. You need to make sure that the elbows are engaged to midline and not flopping open, okay? So that is important. First thing, you need to press into the feet, lift the hips. So you lift the hips, you need to engage the core, so as you hug in to your midline, then you can press and come onto the crown of the head. So you come to the crown of the head, take a breath. And now see if it's available to press up. Woo! It's my first time doing that today, but we should be nice and warmed up now. From here, you want to be able to actually like sway a little bit. Maybe you can walk your feet in. See if you can stay a few breaths. And then slowly come down, releasing the head, the lower back, and the hips. We're gonna do that one more time, or of your choice, one more time. Okay, cool. There's a few different ways to go into it, but I think today we're just gonna go simple and building up. So this back bend is that ability to support yourself so that you can open fuller in your upper body, in your heart, and really learn your capacity of your body, the capacity to feel supported, to open. Good. Take another moment, reestablish your ground, and connect. Now for me, I like to lift my heels. It allows me to walk my feet in. Drop the head. And there's this place you have to trust and surrender, which is also a challenging point and a great place to play with an edge. Great. Okay, we're gonna release wherever we are. We're gonna find the feet parallel, knees bent, feet more away from the hips. So there's a little more space. And we're just gonna start to drop the knees side to side. Find a nice little sweet release here. And it'll also help to just look in the opposite direction as the knees drop. Good work today. Hopefully you are finding more resilience in your body by creating a feeling of safety and connection to yourself and your body as you practice. I feel like this is a way of letting ourselves know we're okay. We're okay in there. We can make it through another day, maybe another month. Go ahead. And we're gonna just continue to twist. So take your right leg over your left. Rock your feet a little bit to the right. Even your hip can sway a little bit to the right as your knees drop to the left. If this isn't working, finding a variation of twist, a full spinal rotation. You can bring your arms open or in cactus, and you can also look over your right shoulder. This is where you can just release out through your mouth, your jaw. Let go into gravity. It's time to release the efforts of the practice. Go ahead and slowly come on back. Uncross the legs. We'll go to the other side, left leg comes over right, hips draw a little bit to the left, and the knees drop to the right. One more nice, deep, slow inhalation down to your abdomen, followed by a sweet exhalation and release. Good. We'll come on back. I'm gonna have you rock on up to take a seat together. And so it is that we practice. Our practice is gonna end once I actually close the computer. Once you close the computer, I'm gonna have you lay down and do your Shavasana without technology. And so I will hold you, you can hold yourself accountable for that. We're just gonna take a moment to sit and create some merit and gratitude. You might find that it's easier to sit than at the beginning of the class. So finding your sit bones. And just take a moment. You can bring your palms up or down on your thighs. Lengthening your spine, closing your eyes, and just softening your awareness. Noticing if there are any tense places in your body anywhere that's difficult to breathe into. If you can guide your breath and awareness there, like a golden orb of light, and just offer space and awareness. Bringing our hands to our hearts. You can keep your eyes closed. Before we close with our closing mantra, I want to speak to one more aspect of just resilience and breakthrough. This found that karma yoga helps a lot when we're feeling really stuck inside of ourselves, really like circling around our own mental processes, and we don't know how to reconnect. Well, I want to just challenge you and invite you to think about how you can do something nice or helpful for somebody or something else in your life. And it's proven that the psychology changes very fast, and I have my own personal direct experience of this, that when you can actually think about somebody else and a little task that you can do to make their life better, it totally is a game changer and can shift that feeling of feeling stuck to feeling grateful and appreciative that we can help people in our lives, that we can actually generate loving energy that does make the world go round. So with that said, I invite you to sit with that. You know, recently, my little story that goes with that is I have a friend who just gave birth to twins, and 2.5 months into mothering them, they set up like this whole community and system of people to come and support them. And you can just imagine, the amount of stress that's on this woman's body. She breastfeeds one and then the other, she changes one and the other, and they're sleeping and they're not sleeping. So she went through a big kind of postnatal depression when this COVID hit, because all of a sudden she didn't have that same support and community that she had thought that she would have. So me and my girlfriends put together a care package for her and made her food and brought her gifts and sent them to the house. And she was just so elated to feel our care. It meant the world of difference to her to feel that support and that love. And I'm almost sure that it's giving her the strength to keep going as a new mother. And so, yeah, even speaking, I have like tears in my eyes. And just to feel that like I had the intention to do that and to invite other women in the community to participate, and just to feel her response was like the most rewarding, helpful thing to even get me through the week. So with that said, maybe that can inspire you. And so we're gonna bring our hands to our heart. We're already at our heart, and I'm gonna share the closing mantra, which is Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti is peace, wishing that for ourselves and everybody all around us. I invite you to do this. I probably can't hear you because you're on mute, and just let that radiate out. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. One more Om. Om. Thank you. Namaste. So please take a Shavasana. It's helpful for the system to reset. You're welcome to donate. It helps generate this support and flow of energy. And you're welcome to keep coming if you don't have that much flow of money in your life right now. I want you to keep practicing with me. Let me know what you like, what you want more of. I will be here on Wednesday mornings and Thursday evenings. Thursdays will be a little bit more therapeutic. And